know was a tough year, but some companies did well. One of them was Mahindra and Mahindra. We have Anish Shah, Managing Director and CEO at M&M, joining us. Anish, hi, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. First of all, Happy New Year to you and to everyone at Mahindra from CNBC TV 18 team. 2021 has been a good year for you, right? And you made a lot of inroads, gained market share, especially in the passenger vehicle space. What's the kind of outlook that you can share for 2022?
So good morning and Happy New Year to you and to all your viewers as well. 2021 has been a very good year because we've got 4 launches that were really blockbusters, and we have a 5th one that's coming up in the next few months. And the backlog today that we have is enormous, actually. In fact, larger than what we'd ideally like. We've got 1.6 lakh orders on backlog, and that's really a function of the chip shortage to a large extent, and second, far greater the demand than we had anticipated for the XUV700 and for the Thar. What we see in 2022 is an easing of the chip shortage. We're seeing things that are a lot better now already. While there will be some elements still of global demand versus supply, we're seeing things to be a lot better than they were last year. And that will help us deliver a lot more vehicles and really get back to a much stronger growth trajectory. And as we talk about internally, we are moving pretty rapidly now to get back to a #1 spot for SUVs.
Okay, so what's that 5th launch? I mean, the Thar, of course, has been the one which has really taken everyone by storm. What's the new launch that's planned in next few months?
It's the new Scorpio. And based on the early feedback that we've gotten from our dealers, this may be bigger than many of our previous launches.
Anish, hi, good morning. Prashant this side. You know, the one big announcement which is keenly awaited from Mahindra is, what you're going to do in the EV space. And I think you've given some indication in the past. Will we see a sort of a big announcement in that arena? An investment like one of your competitors did announce in the latter half of 2021. What exactly should we expect without being very specific?
I think at this point, more important is the product sets that we have and the ability to take market leadership. So I will start with EV on the 3-wheeler side first. In the last 3 months, we sold 5,500 units. That is a 64% penetration of the entire 3-wheeler space for us, which is EV and diesel, up from 25% last year. So as you see, the portfolio is moving very rapidly towards that. And at this point, we're selling close to 2,000 units per month in that space with a 60% plus market share. On the 4-wheeler side, we're essentially leapfrogging to what we call born electric platforms. And you will see those coming up soon. We've got 7 models planned over the next 4 to 5 years. And that is really going to help change the tone for the electric vehicle business in India. With regard to investments, our approach was to make some of the early investments ourselves, and you'll see more as we go on.
Okay, we'll see more as we go on. Anish, Happy New Year to you, and thank you for being with us on the channel on the first day of the new year. I want to ask you a little bit about what's happening in the tractor segment, because it's not just for M&M, but across the board, there's been a double-digit decline. Of course, companies are blaming it on the unseasonal rainfall, on COVID, etc. But can you give us a sense on what the larger picture is? Are we staring at a multi-year down cycle for the tractor industry? Because it seems like the rural economy has been unable to recover from the damage that COVID has done in the last 2 years. But what's your sense?
So, yeah, as we look at tractors, last year was a 20% plus growth. And at the start of this fiscal year, we had projected a low single-digit growth rate for the year, and we're on track for that right now. So as you look at the last 2 or 3 months, you would have seen a higher decline. But on balance for the year, we will likely see a low single-digit. And going forward, I'd expect that to continue maybe for 1 more year, but it may even surprise us to the upside and go further up, because what we are seeing is a very strong rural consumer. The agri sector is doing extremely well. Rainfall has been kind. We've seen productivity at much higher levels, and the output from crops has been very good. So from all of those factors, we are seeing a huge buoyancy in terms of the need for various mechanical productivity tools in the farm sector, not just tractors. We're also seeing a lot more in terms of farm implements. And that's one huge area of growth that India still has to see. Because in India, farm implements are a small fraction of tractors, while globally there are 2x tractors. So what we will see over the next few years is a much greater growth in farm implements and a strong and steady growth on the tractor side.
Okay, the reason I also ask Anish is because, now you have a large player like Kubota that has recently invested in Escort. So, a large global player entering the Indian markets in a big way. They have, a lot of technological know-how. They have large cash bags as well. So in a situation like this, of course, you have market share of 40%, so you're still the market leader. But how do you combat competition? And have you lost any market share in the recent past because of what's happening?
So we have not lost market share. We continue to maintain our share at 40% plus. And we've had large global players in this space for a while. Kubota has been there in India as well. With Escorts, yes, they may get a little stronger on that front. But from a technology standpoint, we are at par or better than any of the global players. We compete in the US market in this space as well and are doing extremely well there, and in a few other markets around the world. So from that standpoint, it doesn't worry us. It keeps us on our toes. And we are coming up with a new range of products on the tractor side with the new K2 platform, which is going to be the best in class at this point in time.
Anish, I just want to get back to the SUV space because what you can see clearly on roads is a lot of MG cars, a lot of Kia cars. Hyundai, of course, has also done well. So, sort of, are you losing market share, or is this market expanding? If you could give some thoughts on that.
The SUV market has been expanding and in fact has been taking share, much higher share in the overall passenger vehicle market. You also see a large number of smaller SUVs. That's one area that we have not played very well in, and we focused more on what we call the authentic SUVs. But with the range of products we've launched over the last 12 to 18 months, I talked about the 4 blockbusters right now. We will see a lot more Mahindra cars on the road as we get more Thars out there, more XUV 500s out there. Or 700s rather. The 300 has done extremely well. We continue to see 5,000 plus bookings every month on the 300 as well, and the new Scorpio that comes in. So given all of that, while Mahindra has been more rural focused for many years, we are seeing a huge amount of demand from urban markets as well as these new models come out.
I agree with that SUV perhaps has been slightly misused concept compared to the authentic SUVs, but that's a big market, right? The Kia Seltos of the world, the Sonets, and Hyundai has a car as well in that space. So when do we expect models from Mahindra in this range?
So that's something we are looking at, whether we can create an authentic SUV in that space, because what we do want to do is stay true to our core, which is the ability to deliver an experience that's unparalleled from an SUV standpoint. So that's something that we continue to look at, as to say, should we get into that segment, or should we focus on attracting customers in a segment where they can actually get real SUVs?
Okay, I have 2 quick questions because we're running out of time, so I've decided to combine them. One, in the electric vehicle space, are you looking at any point in time to onboard a technical partner, global partner to accelerate your EV plans? And 2, you had plans to achieve a revenue growth of around 15 to 20% by 2025. At least that's what you guided for earlier. Would you stick to that?
So on the EV space, we are working with various partners globally on the technical side, because we obviously can't make everything internally. We are also closely watching battery technology and see how it evolves. There's a lot more required from the ecosystem standpoint as well. So on all of those fronts, we will work with various partners. And in terms of our growth guidance, what we have talked about is an 18% ROE and a 15 to 20% EPS growth. And that's something that we stay with. We feel that our businesses actually have performed extremely well over the last year and are well positioned as we go into the future.
Anish, we'll leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. It was a good conversation, and once again, wish you a happy new year. That's from Mahindra, really blockbuster products. What's blockbuster right now is market. The bank nifty is surging. It's crossed the 200-day moving average, and keep an eye on that. We are perhaps in for some kind of a trend day, 1% higher on the bank nifty, 35,800, with HDFC Bank really now firing on all cylinders. That was a missing piece of the puzzle. That's doing well now, 1.5% higher on HDFC Bank. We'll take a break. Once we come back, first day of New Year, our special segment Hello 2022, Lara Venkatesh will be in conversation with Mark Mobius.